Well, I got several pieces made for the 1970's Starduster. I was missing all three of these radials for the capacitance hat, and obviously the three nuts are missing. So I made those. That completes that. The other one that I made, let's see if I can find it for you here. Is this piece right here. Comes down and it has an extension go in it. I have all three of the extensions, but this one I had to make. It's not hollow, it's a solid rod. So I drilled it in about 3 inches, added the set screw hole, and then fit this in so it's perfect now. So the antenna is obviously not completely assembled. There's the vertical that our capacity hat would attach to. So the antenna is just about done. Now, what is still missing completely that I'm going to have to make out of, I don't know, all this junk TV stuff is let's see. Okay, so if there was a mast plugged into this thing, right? If there was a mast here holding this up way high in the air, what happens is let's just take one of them. I don't know if I can get far enough away to show you. There's 3 struts like this that go toward the center, and they attach to a piece of plastic out here and a 3-pointed piece of plastic in the middle with a hole in it for the mast. And that keeps these radials spread the same distance the entire time in the wind and blah 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 blah. So I'm pretty sure that the 3 capacitance hat rods, the originals from the 70s, and these guys, the originals for this, are in a box somewhere where I have not a clue in the world. After 20 months of living out of boxes, I can't find shit anymore. So anyway, these are TV antenna pieces of aluminum. They're not really, they're tubing, but they're, as you can see, they were folded out of flat material, which is a way cheaper way to make them, and so they're not as strong. But I have, for the outer piece here, I have a choice of, what do I have? I've got polycarb, and I think I have some Delrin. So I could make the pieces out of polycarb, Delrin, or even maybe PVC tubing from the hardware store, and make this piece here. And then the triangle guy that goes in the middle, I think it's going to be about 3 inches in diameter for this to attach to. I think it will be made out of any of the 3 same materials. And that's the last part of this that needs to get finished. I'm missing the screws for this. They were, come on baby. They were 1/4 inch long. They're probably 6 or 8 gauge for sheet metal. And they're all gone. And that's not like me. I'd put them in a bag and stuff like that. So they're all stashed away somewhere. But at least I'm getting this thing ready to get put up. You know, this rod here was the most difficult one by a mile. I had to go buy a die for it. What was that? 3/8 24 thread at the top. So getting all the miscellaneous screws for this thing will be a piece of cake. That needs 3 1032 nuts. No big deal. I probably have those already. So that's about it. This thing's 11 feet high when it's totally assembled. Something like that. No, maybe it's higher than that. Anyway, don't know, don't care. At least it's almost done. Now, one of my ideas that we used to do when we'd fly model helicopters is this. We get these tubes. You know, this thing, I had this up in the mid-70s. Mid to late 70s, I had this antenna up at my parents' house, right? Well, that was 40 years ago. And it doesn't, see, it doesn't roll flat. So what you do is you take a block of wood, like a 2x4 or 2x6, and you just roll it against the concrete, not with a lot of pressure, and it'll start to flatten out and unwarp itself. So I need to do that to, this one's bent a little right there, this one's curved a little bit right there, and that's part of the vertical. It's 3 pieces, 2 right there, and the third one is where the coax connects at the end here. I think that one's real, I think this one here is really straight, but these two need to be taken apart, just pulled apart. You can see the curve in them, and then roll them flat. I mean, it's just for looks. It won't really change much, but you know, if I'm going to put some work into this thing, I want it to look as nice as it can. I used to talk all over the place on this antenna. Stardusters are incredible, and especially when you pound an 8-foot ground rod all the way in the ground, it lowers the angle of radiation a lot. And these things will shoot skip great, they'll talk all over the place, and they'll handle lots of power, which I don't have any power, so it doesn't really make any difference. I'm barefoot all the time, but anyway, whew, just got that done. I'm going to take a look online for some instructions in case, let me show you something. That center vertical gets screwed to the hub with this hardware right here. And apparently back in the day I put some silicone on it because I vaguely remember it leaking down into where the coax is. Not in the coax, but in that little volume in there where it screws on. And I didn't get this new, right? So I got it from a friend, and like I explained earlier, so there may be a big flat washer missing, which could really help seal this up. So I need to look at the instructions to see if there is a big old flat washer. I might just put one in myself, but or just, you know, reseal it. It's not that big of a deal. This stuff's still flexible, which really shocks me because I only had this set up in the 70s. I've never had it set up anywhere else ever in time. So this stuff's still flexible, and it was real sticky. It stuck real good. So it's black. I bet it's Permatex because in those days all I had was automotive. So anyway, so that I'd like to not have it leak. We know how water is with electronics, especially RF. Alright, that's it for now. See you, bye.